The video you're about to watch will take you to a wonder in Hanoi City, also known as Little Venice. Let me introduce you to Ocean Park 3, one of the 3 ocean parks that make up the Vinhomes Ocean Park. Before we step inside the waterways and the colorful streets, we have to start at the very beginning. Let me introduce you to the grand entrance. From a distance, you can see it rising against the sky, a massive golden gate that looks like something out of a European fairy tale. Impossible to miss. As tourists arrive by car, taxi, or electric bus, their eyes are immediately drawn to the sheer scale of it. The architecture is grand and ornate, with intricate details. The entrance isn't just a door, it's a statement. It's the first memory of the trip. Looking up at the gate, you get a beautiful preview of what's waiting inside. It welcomes you with a promise of wonder. The first thing that welcomes you is this magnificent statue. It sets the tone immediately. You're not in Hanoi anymore. You're in a European dream. Look at these buildings, the colors. Peach, pink, purple, green. They aren't just painted. They stand out. They pop against the blue sky and demand to be in your photos. Every corner you turn offers a different shade, a different mood. You've stepped into a carnival of color where every wall is a backdrop and every shadow tells a story. It's not just a walk. It's a mood ring for the soul. Legend has it that they didn't have to build it this way. They could have built something practical, functional, and safe. Another urban development with straight lines and neutral tones. Another place to live, work, and sleep. But we'll get to that later.
Xin chào.
Just a few meters from the gate, the city opens up to the water. This is where it all begins. There's a bench here, right at the water's edge. Tourists sit on it and they wait. But it's not an impatient waiting. It's the good kind. Before we push off from this dock, before the boat carries you away into the pastel maze of canals and colorful corners, we have to walk you through something first. Because this massive complex, this little Venice rising out of the Hanoi suburbs, didn't just appear overnight. It was dreamed. It was debated. It was built bucket by bucket, brick by brick, by people who asked a dangerous question. What if we built something that had never existed before? The city was growing. Young families needed homes. The middle class wanted places to go on weekends. Not just malls and cafes, but destinations. Places that felt like vacations, even if you only had an afternoon. And someone, somewhere in a boardroom, looked at a map of Eastern Hanoi and saw something no one else saw. At this very spot is where the real adventure begins. This is the main dock. This is where tourists hop on board, settle in, and get ready to sail the canal. The water canal stretches just under a kilometer, 830 meters to be exact, though it feels longer when you're on it. It winds through Little Venice like a blue ribbon tying everything together. More than 20 boats call this canal home. They bob gently at their docks, polished and ready, their wooden seats worn smooth by thousands of passengers who come here daily. Some are sleek and modern, electric motors humming quietly as they glide. Vingroup, the developer behind Vinhomes Ocean Park, had already done something extraordinary with Ocean Park 1 and 2, bringing the sea to the city with saltwater lagoons and wave parks. But with Ocean Park 3, they wanted something different, something that wasn't just a place to live, but a place to feel. They looked at the eastern edge of Hanoi, at the intersection of 2 ancient commercial ports, and imagined a modern-day trading route. A place where cultures would meet the way they always have, through color, through architecture, through the simple joy of walking down a beautiful street. So they asked another question. What would make people feel like they'd traveled somewhere magical? Venice, someone said. Not because they wanted to copy Italy, because Venice has something that never goes out of style. Wonder. The way the buildings rise straight out of the water. The way color reflects and doubles. The way every corner offers a new view, a new possibility. But could they do it here? On this flat land, far from the sea, where the only water was rain and rice? The answer is yes. They had to bring the water first. Not just a pond or a fountain, but a real canal, nearly a kilometer long, deep enough for boats, wide enough for wonder. They dug, they pumped, They lined the banks with stone and sealed them against the earth that wanted to drink the dream away. Then they built the buildings. Not just walls and roofs, but characters. Every facade was designed to tell a story. The peach building with the flower boxes? That's the romantic one. The purple one with the wrought iron balconies? That's the mysterious one. The pink corner building with the cafe on the ground floor. That's where people fall in love, or at least pretend to. They painted in colors that don't exist in nature because they wanted you to feel like you'd stepped outside of nature. Into a painting, into a dream. Of course, not everyone believed. Who will come? They asked. It's too far from the city, too different, too much. But the dreamers kept dreaming. They built the Golden Gate first. They lined the entrance with statues and fountains, and then this massive infrastructure. Isn't this beautiful? The boat drifts on. The water sparkles. You are safe enough to forget you ever worried. They don't mention it at the ticket booth or on the guided tours. But something lives in the spaces between the colors. Something that has nothing to do with guards or vests or safety protocols. But if you stay late enough, if you linger when the crowd's thin and the last boats dock and the music fades to silence, you might hear the whispers. There are ghosts in Little Venice. The guards know. The ones who work the night shifts. The ones who lock up after everyone leaves. The ones who walk the empty canals when the moon is high and the water turns to black glass. They've seen things. They've felt things. They've learned to look over their shoulders. But they won't talk about it. Not officially. Not on the record. Ask them directly, and they'll smile and shake their heads and tell you not to believe everything you hear. But ask them late at night, after a few glasses of rice wine, when the canal is empty and the shadows are long. They might tell you about the lady in white. She appears on the bridge. The small one near the purple building, the one with the best view of the canal at sunset. Always at twilight. Always when the light is just uncertain enough that you can't quite trust your eyes. She wears a traditional dress, white as fresh jasmine, flowing in a wind that no one else feels. Her hair is long and black, falling past her shoulders, hiding her face. She stands at the railing and looks down at the water. Tourists have photographed her, thinking she's part of a wedding shoot or a fashion spread. But when they look at their photos later, when they zoom in, when they enhance, when they try to find the beautiful woman they saw, there's nothing there. Just the bridge, just the railing, just the water reflecting empty air. The guards know her. They've learned not to approach, not to call out, not to do anything that might make her turn around. Because the ones who've seen her face, the ones who've glimpsed what's under that long black hair, they don't work here anymore. There's an old gondolier, they call him Uncle Bin, who's been on this water since the first boat launched. He knows every bend, every building, every shadow. He's the one the younger guards come to when they've seen something they can't explain. He tells a story about the night he almost quit. It was past midnight, long after the last tourists had gone. Uncle Bin was securing his boat for the evening, checking the ropes, making sure everything was ready for the morning. The canal was still. The buildings were dark. The only sound was water lapping gently against stone. Then he heard singing. Not music from a cafe or a passing phone. Real singing. A woman's voice, high and clear and impossibly beautiful, drifting across the water from somewhere near the peach building. He looked up. A boat was coming toward him. A small boat, like the ones in his fleet, but older somehow. And standing at the bow was a woman in white. Uncle Bin tried to move, tried to do anything, but his body wouldn't obey. He could only stand there, frozen, as the ghost boat glided closer and closer. And then it was gone. Past him, around the bend, disappearing into the darkness from which it came. Not all the ghosts are lonely women. Sometimes, late at night, the guards hear children laughing. It comes from the plaza near the statue. But the plaza is empty, has been empty for hours. The first time a new guard hears it, they always go to check. They always walk over with a flashlight, expecting to find some teenager playing a prank. They always come back pale, quiet, unwilling to talk about what they saw or didn't see. The older gods don't go looking anymore. They've learned that the children mean no harm. They play their ghostly games, they laugh their ghostly laughs, and eventually, as the night deepens toward dawn, they fall silent. But here's the thing about ghost stories. They're just stories. The lady in white, the children laughing. These are whispers passed between workers on night shifts. Tales shared over rice wine when the canal is dark and the imagination runs wild. They're the kinds of stories every old place collects, every new place invents, every destination needs to feel mysterious after sunset. But they're not facts. Let's end the ghost stories here. Little Venice is a shopper's paradise, dressed in pastels, all along the canal, on both sides of this 830-meter stretch of shimmering water. The bottom floors of these impossible buildings come alive. Look closely at those colorful buildings you've been photographing. Notice how the bottom floors are different from the ones above. Larger windows, wider doors, space designed to invite you in. This was no accident. The dreamers who built this place knew something fundamental about human nature. We love to look, but we love to buy even more. So they designed every building with a commercial soul. The bottom flats, as they call them here, are all shops, restaurants, cafes, bars, boutiques, brand names, and local treasures, all of them tucked beneath those gorgeous residential facades. You can live above the magic, but to shop, you come down to the water. There are all types of shops at Ocean Park 3, not just one kind. Not just souvenirs for tourists or overpriced cafes for Instagram hunters. A real mix, a genuine range. The kind of variety that makes you want to walk slowly, peek through every window, step inside when something catches your eye. Hungry? There are restaurants, dozens of them. Thirsty? Cafes and bars on practically every corner. Need something to wear? Boutiques and branded shops line the canal. Want to just sit and watch the boats go by? Every other building has a place to do exactly that. Let's start with food, because that's where any good visit should begin. The restaurants at Grand World span the culinary globe. Vietnamese classics sit comfortably next to Italian trattorias. Korean barbecue joints rub shoulders with Japanese sushi bars. Thai spices compete with European comfort food for your attention. Prices vary as widely as the cuisines. A bowl of pho might cost you 50,000 to 80,000 VND, about $2 to $3, depending on how fancy the setting. A full Italian dinner with wine could run 300,000 to 500,000 VND per person. Korean barbecue, especially if you go for the good cuts, might stretch higher. But there's something for every budget. From street food to white tablecloth elegant. The canal has led us here, where a huge boat docks. It sits in the center of the lake like it owns the place, like it has always been here, waiting for you. Everyone stops, everyone stares, everyone reaches for their phone. It looks like something out of a film. Not just any film. Pirates of the Caribbean, maybe. One of those grand adventure movies where the ship isn't just a ship. It's a character. It's the thing the heroes fight over, escape on, dream about. It has a bow that cuts through water like a knife. Old-world craftsmanship rendered in modern materials. Let's talk about size, because photos don't capture it. You stand at the edge of the lake, and the boat fills your vision. It's massive. Not ocean liner massive, but bigger than anything you expected to find in a man-made lake in the middle of a residential development. Big enough that you feel small standing near it. Big enough that the gondolas in the canal look like toys by comparison. By day, the boat is a photographer's dream. It sits still and proud on the glassy water, reflected perfectly when the lake is calm. Tourists flock to the edges of the lake, finding the exact angle, the perfect spot where the boat aligns with the pastel buildings behind it, or the sky above it, or the water below it. Wedding parties come here. Everyone trying to capture the magic of this impossible ship against the backdrop of this beautiful place. The boat doesn't move during the day. It lets you take your pictures and make your memories and tell your friends back home. When the sun goes down, when the lights come on, that's when the big boat wakes up. Because the boat wasn't built just to look pretty. It was built to perform. Every evening, as the crowds gather around the lake and the music begins to swell, the boat becomes a stage. Fountains rise from the lake around it, shooting water 10 meters into the air, choreographed to music that echoes across the water. The water dances, the lights pulse, The boat sits in the center of it all, majestic and unmoving, like a king watching his kingdom celebrate. It's the nightly show that draws crowds from across Hanoi, that fills the cafes and bars along the lake, that makes everyone stop whatever they're doing and turn toward the water. Let's talk about falling water, the fountains of Mega Grand World. These fountains, not just one grand spectacle, but two, are located at both ends of complex, each one different, waiting to be discovered around the next corner. In the Venice zone, fountains wear European faces, elegant, classical, refined. In the plazas and squares, they rise from the ground unexpectedly, catching children off guard, inviting them to play. Some are quiet, reflective pools where water barely moves, mirroring the buildings above. Others are loud and playful, shooting jets into the air, creating rainbows when the sun hits just right. All of them are magic. This is one of the fountains, the one with mermaids and sea creatures as statues. Half women, half fish, their bronze bodies glistening with spray. Children love them. Toss a coin, make a wish, or just stand there watching the water. You've seen the fountains now. You've watched them dance and sparkle and reflect. You've tossed coins into wishing waters and watched children run through playful jets. But perhaps you're wondering, what makes these fountains different? What makes them stand out from every other fountain in every other plaza in every other city? The answer is layers, depth, details that reveal themselves only to those who look closely, who stay late, who pay attention. This is what makes these fountains extraordinary. The technology beneath the beauty. Beneath every fountain, hidden from view, lies a world of engineering. The answer is layers, depth, details that reveal themselves only to those who look closely, who stay late, who pay attention. This is what makes these fountains extraordinary. The technology beneath the beauty. Beneath every fountain, hidden from view, lies a world of engineering. Pumps that can move thousands of liters of water per minute. Valves that open and close with precision measured in milliseconds. Lights that can produce 16 million colors, controlled by computers that adjust brightness and hue based on time of day. Weather, even the mood of the music playing. The sound design. Most fountains are silent. Water splashes. That's it. Not here. Every major fountain at Mega Grand World is designed with sound. Not just music playing nearby, but sound integrated into the fountain itself. The color choreography. Watch the grand fountain at night. You will notice how the colors don't just change randomly. They move, they pulse, they travel up the water columns from base to tip, creating the illusion that the water itself is changing color as it rises. But the lake isn't the only thing that catches the eye in Mega Grand World. Look to the different angles of this massive complex, and you'll see them rising against the sky. Not one, multiple, positioned at strategic points around Grand World, each one offering a different view, a different angle. They turn slowly, steadily, giant circles of light and metal and pure childhood joy. These are the Ferris wheels. One Ferris wheel stands near the entrance, not far from the Golden Gate itself. It's often the first thing children spot when they arrive, a promise of fun to come. Another sits at the far end of the canal, near where the water opens into the lake with the big boat. This one catches the sunset perfectly. A third, smaller, designed specifically for little ones, is tucked near the family entertainment zone, surrounded by other rides and games for the kinds. Each wheel has its own personality, its own view, its own collection of memories waiting to be made. Parents smile, check wallets, weigh time against joy. Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's later. But always, the child looks back. At the wheel. They'll remember this. Maybe not consciously. That's what Ferris wheels do. They let children practice being grown-ups, just for a moment, from a safe distance. Quiet, electric and friendly. The golf carts, little cars on little wheels, puttering along at the perfect pace, ready to rescue your weary feet and carry you to the next adventure. They're everywhere, these carts. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds, circulating through Mega Grand World like friendly insects on an important mission. Some are open air, perfect for warm days when you want the breeze in your hair. Others have canopies, offering shade when the sun is high. All of them are painted in cheerful colors, matching the buildings they pass, blending with the dream they serve. Their drivers sit up front, uniformed and smiling, ready to answer questions, offer suggestions, share secrets about the places they pass. They're not just drivers, they're guides, guardians of the route, keepers of the knowledge. Behind them, seats wait. 4 passengers, 6 on the bigger ones. Room for families, for couples, for solo travelers who don't want to walk alone. These carts don't just wander randomly. They follow routes, networks, systems designed to connect every part of this massive complex. From Ocean Park 1 to Ocean Park 2 to Ocean Park 3. The carts run between them, carrying tourists from one wonder to the next. The distance between parks is significant. Walkable, yes, if you have hours and energy to spare. But why walk when you can ride? The carts make stops at major spots. The Golden Gate, the Big Boat Lake, the K-Town Plaza, the Venetian Clock Tower, the Family Zone with its Ferris wheels and interactive fountains. Each stop announced. Each stop ready for the next group of dreamers to climb aboard. Think of it as a hop-on, hop-off tour, but smaller, friendlier, more personal. You've walked the canals and ridden the gondolas. You've photographed the peach walls and tossed coins in the fountains. You've watched the big boat dance on the lake and felt the Ferris wheels lift you toward the sky. But perhaps you've wondered, who dreamed all this? Who looked at rice paddies and saw Venice? Who had the courage to ask that dangerous question? What if we built something that had never existed before? Let me tell you a story. The story of a man, a company, and an empire that shaped modern Vietnam. The man behind the dream. His name is Phạm Nhat Vuong, and his journey to becoming the founder of Vingroup, the conglomerate behind Mega Grand World, is the kind of tale that sounds like fiction. Born in 1968 in Hanoi, Vuong grew up in a humble family. His father was an Air Force soldier. His mother sold tea on the street to make ends meet. But young Vuong had a gift, mathematics. He excelled in school, and his brilliance earned him a scholarship to study in Moscow at the Russian State Geological Prospecting University. In the early 1990s, like many ambitious young Vietnamese, he sought opportunity abroad. He moved to Ukraine, borrowed money from friends and family, and opened a Vietnamese restaurant in the immigrant district of Kharkiv. But here's where the story takes its first unexpected turn. Ukraine in the 1990s was chaotic. The Soviet Union had collapsed. The economy was in turmoil. Few people had money to eat out at restaurants. Vuong noticed something. People were hungry. They needed food they could afford. Food that would last. Food that could feed a family quickly and cheaply. In 1993, with a group of partners, he founded Technocom, a food company that would produce instant noodles under the brand name Mivina. The timing was perfect. Mivina noodles exploded across Ukraine. They were cheap, tasty, and everywhere. By 2004, 97% of Ukrainians had eaten Mivina noodles at some point. The brand became a household name, dominating the Ukrainian instant food market. Vuong had found his first fortune not in real estate or technology, but in noodles. Simple, humble, everyday noodles. But Vuong never forgot his homeland. In 2001, he began returning to Vietnam, investing in 2 companies. Vinpearl, focused on resorts and tourism, and Vincom, focused on real estate and shopping centers. In 2007, he merged these companies to form Vingroup. 2 years later, he sold the Ukrainian Technocom business to Nestlé for approximately $150 million. The noodle fortune had served its purpose. Now it was time to build something bigger. Vingroup poured its energy into Vietnam's booming real estate market. Luxury apartments, shopping malls, resorts, hospitals, schools. The company grew rapidly, becoming one of the largest conglomerates in the country. Today, Vingroup is everywhere in Vietnam. Its subsidiaries touch almost every aspect of modern Vietnamese life. Vinhomes, residential real estate development, creating entire cities within cities. Vinwonders, amusement parks and attractions, bringing joy to millions. VinFast, electric vehicles, Vietnam's first domestic car manufacturer. VinBus, electric buses, connecting communities sustainably. VinMech, world-class hospitals and healthcare. VinSchool, K-12 education, shaping future generations. Vin University, a university in partnership with Cornell and the University of Pennsylvania. Vingroup doesn't just build things, it builds ecosystems. It creates worlds where people can live, work, play, learn, and grow, all within the embrace of the Vin family. Pham Nhat Vuong himself has become a symbol of Vietnamese ambition. In 2013, he became Vietnam's first billionaire on the Forbes list, with a net worth of $1.5 billion. By late 2025, his wealth had surged to $24.7 billion, making him Southeast Asia's second richest person and the world's 92nd wealthiest individual. Not bad for a noodle seller from Hanoi. The Mega Grand World vision. So where does Mega Grand World fit into this empire? In July 2023, Vingroup officially announced the development of Mega Grand World Hanoi as a destination within a destination. Ocean City, the broader development encompassing Vinhomes Ocean Park 1, 2, and 3, had already grown to over 1,200 hectares, home to more than 60,000 residents. But Vingroup wanted more. They wanted a place that would attract not just residents, but visitors. Millions of visitors from Hanoi, from surrounding provinces, from international tourists discovering Vietnam. The vision was simple but audacious. Create two themed zones, a European-style Venice and a K-pop-infused K-town, and fill them with hundreds of shops, restaurants, and entertainment experiences. Vingroup didn't build Mega Grand World alone. Vinhomes, the real estate arm, handled the development. Vincom Retail, the commercial retail subsidiary, managed the shopping and entertainment experience, carefully curating a mix of tenants, 42% food and beverage, 38% retail, 20% services. VinWonders brought entertainment expertise, with rides and attractions from world-renowned game developers. Ocean Park 1 features a massive saltwater beach and wave pool, bringing the sea to landlocked Hanoi. Ocean Park 2 offers freshwater lagoons and the Kindu Light Square, inaugurated in early 2023. Ocean Park 3 delivers the Venetian canals and Korean energy of Mega Grand World. Together, they form Ocean City, a destination city of over 1,200 hectares, home to more than 60,000 residents, visited by millions. Vingroup's ambitions extend far beyond Mega Grand World. In December 2025, the company simultaneously launched and inaugurated 11 major projects across Vietnam. Among them, the Olympic Sports Urban Area in Hanoi, featuring the Trong Dong Stadium with 135,000 seats, one of the largest and most technologically advanced stadiums in the world. You've walked through the Venice zone, watched the big boats on the lake. Look up, you see a bridge, not spanning water, but spanning road. This is the London Bridge look-alike outside the Venice zone, and it has its own story to tell. Why London? Why this particular bridge? Because London bridges are iconic. They're recognized worldwide. They evoke feelings of history, romance, adventure. When people see a London-style bridge, they think of travel, of exploration, of stories. The designers chose this style deliberately. It offers a variety of viewpoints for taking several pictures. From the side, capturing its full length. Wedding parties pose here. Couples take engagement photos here. Families gather for group shots here. The bridge has become one of the most photographed spots in the entire complex. And it's not even inside yet. Visit at night, and the bridge transforms. Lights outline its towers and arches. They reflect off the road below, wet with evening mist or rain. The bridge becomes a gateway of light, welcoming visitors into the illuminated wonder beyond. From a distance, you can see it glowing, a beacon. Tour guides love this bridge. It's their first landmark. As the tour bus approaches, they point. Look up ahead, that bridge, inspired by London. We'll pass under it in just a moment. Visitors press against windows, phones rise. The first photos of the day are taken before anyone even steps off the bus. Building a bridge over a busy road isn't simple. Engineers had to ensure the structure was safe, stable, capable of handling years of weather and vibration. They had to coordinate with road planners, ensuring clearance for vehicles below. They had to design foundations that wouldn't interfere with underground utilities. The result is seamless. You never think about the engineering. You just see beauty. And so, dear traveler, we've reached the end of our walk through Mega Grand World Hanoi. We've stood at the Golden Gate and watched tourists capture their first memories. We've marveled at the peach and pink and purple buildings that rise like a dream against the sky. We've floated down the canal on gentle gondolas, guarded by watchful eyes and protected by bright orange vests. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Mega Grand World Hanoi and want to explore more, subscribe to our channel. Reach out with questions, comments, or suggestions for what you'd like to learn next. The world is full of places like this, full of dreamers who dared to build something new. Let us help you discover them, because every journey begins with a single question. What if?